Hey, look who's back.
Hey, thanks for the welcome back.
Zach Martin returning back to the show. How you doing?
Doing good other than dealing with a stomach issue. Fine. The Bruins, made last weekend interesting. So it's been a time. Plus the Hurricanes are out doing their Whalers looking against the Sabres. Very NHL 94-esque graphics. So the vibes are high right now tonight. How are you doing, Andrew?
Not too bad. I don't have that bug that seems to be hitting everyone else this week. So sorry to hear that you're dealing with that. But yeah,
trying.
Welcome to the show. This is another week of chaos here at the AHL pre-show. Thanks again for joining us. Yeah, we got a lot to go over. I feel like the closer we get to the playoffs, just the more chaos we got going on. Am I right in assessing that vibe?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, because if you look at the Atlantic Division, like as always, it's always like what 5 or 6 teams kind of fighting for those last spots, and you know, just overall, this league is just absolute pure insanity, and that's what makes the Americans so great. I think a lot of people need to stop sleeping on it because hey, if you want some extra drama and some extra, spicy and everything else that's included, just watch some American League hockey, and every weekend something is gonna happen for sure. Welcome to the Chaos League.
Absolutely. I want to kick things off by talking about a guy who's quite familiar with that chaos for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This past week, Cal O'Reilly suited up for his 1,000th AHL game, not professional game. I know a lot of times those can kind of get mixed up. No, he's played 1,000 games in the American League for a list of teams I can't even begin to rattle off off the top of my head. But he played his 1,000th game against Chicago, oddly enough, during a school day game, and with that whole Four Nations thing going on, his brother Ryan O'Reilly, a lot of fans are aware of, was able to attend, and along with their parents and their family and everything, it was a big occasion for Cal. Fortunately for them, Chicago kind of took the dub in that one, but it's incredible accomplishment for him, and you just look at the path that his career has gone down. It's remarkable. Even he might not be playing at the same level maybe that his brother does, but still an incredible career nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, doesn't matter if it's 1,000 games in the NHL or the AHL. You can't sniff at 1,000 games because you found a way to just carve out a career that, maybe isn't the glitz and glam of the NHL, but hey, I mean, you're still getting a guy who's a veteran, a guy that everyone respects and looks up to, and he's been there and done that with so many teams, and it's kind of impressive for the fact that you had 1,000 games in the American League career with a league that very limits the veteran status on a bunch of these teams. So to be one of those guys that's always, hey, we're going to give you a veteran spot, really says something for how just the kind of, the accomplishments that Cal's done. So, hey, it doesn't matter if it's, like I said, doesn't matter if it's NHL or AHL. Congratulations to him on 1,000 games of the American. That is impressive stuff. That's for sure.
Bradley Nadeau was about a month old when Cal got drafted.
That is bonkers to think about, for the fact that he was a month old and that somehow Cal is still played long enough to see Bradley Nadeau play his first professional season in the American. Like that's
they're facing off against each other pretty regularly in that Central Division. And
that tells you how old we're getting, Andrew.
Why did you have to say that?
Well, we're still in our early
30s.
We're in our early 30s. Hey, we're in our early 30s. It's all right. We're not like in our 40s or something. So, I mean,
you're not helping your case at all.
No, I mean,
moving on from that nightmare. We got our Player of the Week winner. It's and really in incredible fashion. Devon Levi won the Player of the Week with 2 wins and 2 shutouts. He
Yeah.
stopped over 50 shots, including 5 shootout attempts in a 1-0 victory over the weekend. And I feel like Buffalo tried their darndest to kind of derail this kid's development in classic Sabres fashion.
Yeah.
And this year, I think they're like, okay, we're just gonna let him cook down there, in Rochester, instead of trying to pull him up, be the savior of the Sabres, and then let this team kind of, beat his confidence down in the ground as they did in the past year. So
Yeah.
starting to see kind of the fruits of where all the talent and all the hype from this kid came from. And holy Hannah, is he having himself a season so far.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because you look at Devon Levi, you see him just get bounced back and forth. You're always kind of wondering, is he ever going to make it in the NHL? I mean, he's still pretty young too. And I think going on Buffalo, or I guess whoever was smart enough to be like, hey, we got Ukko-Pekka and we got Reimer, let's not rush Levi because he's like, what was he, 22, 23? Like, why rush the kid when he's not even near his AHL goalie prime yet? So just instead of just trying to force him into a situation maybe where he's not ready or the team is just not good enough to put a young kid like that in. Yeah, like you said, put him in the American, see what we can do with the Amerks, because he plays well with them. I mean, as someone who covered him a little bit last year, he is definitely fun to watch. And if he's on that Americans team, they are a deadly squad to face against. So yeah, like you said, 2 shutouts, 2 wins, and the fact that you won 1-0, one of your shutouts was in a shootout fashion. Like, that tells you that he was on his A game that night for sure.
He's been on his A game all season, and
the
Amerks are paying dividends. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak. They have a 3-point cushion over Laval for the lead in the North, and they don't really show any kinds of signs of slowing down. So I like what I'm seeing from Levi. Well-earned honor, obviously, this week. You're kind of expecting it when you don't give up a single goal for the week.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a North Division too that you're still looking at, with Laval and Cleveland and all that, and Syracuse and whoever else you want to kind of throw into that category. But for the fact that the Amerks are kind of finding their footing at the right time to maybe give themselves a little bit of a distance. Hey, you'll take a great goalie performance whenever you need it, especially this time of year where you're looking at 20, 22 games left pretty much across the board. Yeah, good thing to get hot at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking about getting hot at the right time, we're going to shift things over kind of out into the West Coast. We had a big game on Sunday where Ontario took a 3-2 final over Calgary. And with that result, the Reign are now your top team in the Pacific Division. It seems like Calgary had been up there since, I want to say, like November, and had
it's been a bit
in there. It's been a minute, and it's I don't know if the winds of change are necessarily coming through, but the Wranglers have hit a bit of a slump lately. They what's their past record? It's not great. They're 0-4, 2-2 over their last 8 games. So that'll lose you a division lead.
That'll definitely put you in a tough spot, especially when you look at, like you said, the Reign are now taking over that spot. And hey, look out. They say, out of the ashes, a team comes out and just kind of surprises everyone or just rejuvenates the season. Coachella Valley, I mean, taking their name moniker to heart. I mean, they're absolutely surging right now.
Yeah, so they're 7-3 over their last 10, 4-1 over their last 5. That's gonna be good. Right there in the mix. Don't discredit Colorado either. The top 4 teams in the Pacific between Ontario, Calgary, Coachella, and Colorado are all separated by just 2 points. So
who do they think they are? The Atlantic of the West?
The Atlantic doesn't have anything on the Pacific. Let me tell you that, man. You're gonna talk about convoluted.
I mean, hey, Providence is now 2 points back of Hershey. Yes, they have they played 2 more games, but hey, Providence is right there on Hershey's on their coattails. So It's good. It's gonna come down to the wire, but yeah, that Pacific Division is absolutely nuts. If you look at that, like you said, if you got the top four separated by 2, I mean, it's just a good old Spider-Man pointing at each other, or like the Office meme where they all just hold their finger guns up to each other and be like, all right, who's gonna make the move first? That's kind of what it's like in the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, you got between Colorado, Coachella, and Ontario. Calgary better kind of start to turn things around here because it's kind of looking kind of dicey for the Wranglers here as we head down the stretch. We got what 20 games ish.
So what you're saying is they need to wrangle in this losing streak?
Between that and the old jokes, man, I'm really I might just call this one early. Real.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. You know what? Someone's got to bring a little something, and I bring the I bring the puns. So
hey, we're here.
You're welcome, right? I guess.
We're here for the chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, don't worry. I got a lot more in the chamber. Don't worry. I'll lasso my way into a few more of them.
let's stick in the Pacific, and we're gonna. I mean, over the last couple of days, we've been having a spattering of trades, and we'll kind of get over some of these. One of the bigger ones that kind of hit from me on my beat from Grand Rapids, Detroit sending Ville Husso out to Anaheim. Now, nothing coming back other than future considerations because apparently that kid's locker room cancer. But
I mean, hey, hopefully, maybe his like 37, 29th stop, in Detroit maybe might would do him good. So
probably not.
Oh, poor kid. He can't catch a break.
But San Diego is kind of dealing with a couple of injuries in that. So Pat Verbeek was able to go out and get some help for literally, well, I won't say literally free because that is kind of a contract you got to eat up. But for a team like Anaheim, it doesn't really.
They got space. I mean, Ville Husso's he's no goalie to scoff at either. I mean, he's pretty solid overall. So if you're talking about a guy who's got a lot of AHL experience, going to go play the American for the Gulls. I mean, we're not going to say that's going to completely, turn the Gulls around and be like, hey, we're going to make a call to run. But it might give them a few extra wins here and there that maybe they weren't going to have before. So.
Don't call it a comeback, but the Gulls have won 7 games in a row and are now just 5 points out of a playoff spot when they're.
You know what? Hey, you know what? If maybe I might have to eat some goals here if they do make the playoffs. So I guess we'll see.
Oh man, I really don't want any beach rats on my podcast. Can you imagine how annoying that would be? Oh my god, there's nothing worse than going to the beach and hearing those things screech at you all day.
Oh, don't worry. Where I work, they're like during the wintertime, they flew like from like the coast into the middle of South Carolina, and they're just all over where I'm at work. So yeah, don't worry. I'll take care of that for you. It's just all those gulls are just everywhere. It's like no. I'm nowhere near a beach.
Well, Ville was able to. He actually got a shutout in his first game with the Gulls.
I mean, of course, right?
Against Calgary. So I don't know if that's impressive or not, but it's it absolutely is. And I have to say, Ville. In Grand Rapids, it's very easy to kind of, especially when you've been an NHL regular for a while, to get frustrated when you get your assignment into the American League. And he had an absolute positive work ethic and attitude for the entire time with the Griffins. He played excellent there for Grand Rapids, and this is going to provide him with another opportunity in Anaheim to make a name for himself in that organization, and maybe he can go and battle his way back into the league. I certainly hope so. He's a great dude who just didn't have the greatest of circumstances in Detroit, and just wish him all the best and wherever his hockey career takes him. But it was great to chat with him. It was great to have him around the locker room in Grand Rapids, and I hope he can help San Diego make kind of a miracle run into that Pacific Division bracket there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be huge if they're even able to pull that off for them. And yeah, it's just going from St. Louis to Detroit. Now he's with Anaheim, and now he's trying to help out San Diego. hey, like you said, maybe it'll help, getting back into the league, or at the worst, hey, maybe you kind of help the Gulls get into the playoffs, and now we're not looking at them as one of the American bottom feeders. Now it's the other teams that we got to be like figure it out. So hey, if San Diego figures it out and gets in, good for them. Hey, they're doing more than their parent club. So
yeah, I mean, they not in recent memory. It's been a while since I've seen the Gulls make a playoff run, so I'd really like for them to
freshen it up a little bit. Give us some newer teams to kind of talk about instead of just the same old.
Mm-hmm, exactly. We got a couple more trades though here. You got Nashville kind of sending Anthony Angelo out to Tampa Bay for Jesse Lonen, and this one, kind of another one where there's not a lot of NHL implications for it, but there's huge implications there in the American League.
Yeah,
Syracuse loses their third leading scorer on the team. And I don't want to say Angelo is kind of more of a complimentary piece in Milwaukee, but it's just that feeling that the Admirals just keep stacking talent in this roster, and I hate it as a team that has got to cover two teams in the Central, but it is what it is. And
I'm so sick of these guys. They can't keep getting away with this.
Right? Like, come on, give me a break here. Just give me a break.
Yeah,
but
right? At least something.
Kind of a situation, I think, where you kind of got two guys who maybe need a bit of a change of scenery, change of pace. It was
a hockey trade. That's all it really was. It was just a hockey trade. Be like, hey, let's do a little swap-a-roo. It's kind of really about it.
Exactly. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I think it's going to have some pretty big implications in this nice little playoff run that we have at the end of the season here. But I think you're going to see a lot more of these as we, got to remember that we got the NHL trade deadline in just about a week. So,
which is crazy. It's crazy to think that we're already there at this point where it's like, wait, what? We're already at the NHL trade deadline. And of course, the American is a little bit longer than that, but still, it's always funny when it's like, wait, how are there still trades going on? Well, you see, the American League does things a little bit different.
Exactly. And then we got one more made at the made by NHL teams, but it's mostly going to impact us here in the American League.
Yeah.
Minnesota trading Joseph Ciccone to the Los Angeles Kings for Tyler Madden. So you're going to see Madden ending up with the Iowa Wild, and Ciccone going from one of the worst teams in the league to one of the best in Ontario. And I think that's a huge pickup there for the Reign. Ciccone's a big body on that blue line. He's going to be a pain to play against for anyone who's going through that gauntlet in the Pacific Division playoffs. So,
especially a guy who's kind of grown up around the Wild, and it's kind of his dad was there, and it's one of those guys who's just been in the system. That you're bringing that Minnesota system grit to the West. So, like you said, watch out for this guy. He's might be causing a lot of problems in the Pacific for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And then, Tyler Madden. That's tough. That's kind of a tough gearing up for a Calder Cup run, and then
not so much
ending up in Des Moines.
Hope you like corn.
Hope you like corn.
You can see a lot of it.
I hope he it's tough because now you're going from just outside of Los Angeles to Des Moines, Iowa. But
nothing against Des Moines, though.
It's not all bad because I try and think of I'm wearing my Lions hoodie today, and I thought back in 2021 that when Jared Goff, a lifelong Californian, got traded to Detroit, Michigan, he must have thought that his life was over. But with the right mindset, you can absolutely, revitalize your career, your, the whole perspective on it. So I'm not gonna lament on it too much for Tyler Madden here. I think most of all, kind of going from a contender in this league to whatever the Iowa Wild are, which is definitely not a contender.
They're a team.
For any competitor, it's difficult.
Yeah, they're a team. They're just
are they?
I mean, they are a better team than the Bridgeport Islanders, so I mean,
yeah, we needed to discuss this because I seen some information that was given on the internet that I don't want to be hyperbolic about the whole thing, which thankfully Patrick Williams was able to put some stats together, because it's one thing if I just go off here spouting Bridgeport's bad, Bridgeport's terrible, Bridgeport this, that, and the other thing.
Well, we kind of did that a few weeks ago when it was.
I've been doing it all season, but now I have like tangible stats to back me up on this.
I have the hard-hitting facts that Bridgeport just stinks.
They've played 26 home games this season. How many of those do you think they've won?
I want to be generous and say 5, but for how bad we've talked about, probably like 2, 3.
3. They've won 3 games at home.
3 out of 26.
3 out of 26.
I'm surprised anyone even shows up to those games, to be honest.
That's what that was. That's a point. They have a point percentage at home of .173. They get 17% of the points at home. They have to win 5 of their final 10 home games to avoid setting the worst record in the league in history at home. I'm going to go on the limb.
Not for the whole season. Not for the whole season. Just for their home record.
That's just their home. Apparently, they're road warriors. Who would have guessed? But they're not actually road warriors. They're just slightly above historically bad on the road.
But they're historically bad at home. Essentially,
who shows up to those games?
I want to see the attendance numbers and
family and friends.
I want to see the attendance numbers. Like, are they just making these numbers up? Or are they actually being legit?
I'm going to start wondering if they operate at a loss at their home games at this point, because between wages that you have to pay everyone, what do you do for all your home games?
Think about the food that you might have to waste. Like, do you open up all the concession stands, or are you kind of like, we'll open a couple?
No, there's no way. Why would they do that? You're gonna have that hot dog that's been sitting on the roller for 3.5 hours.
Probably about 3.5 weeks more than anything else in Stone's body.
Probably.
Who's there to get it?
But don't worry, we have more. I mean, yeah, Chris Terry is a top 5-point scorer in this league last I saw.
Oh my gosh.
And he's a legend in the American League too, man. I want to say he's been around the game as long as Cal O'Reilly has. He might have had maybe a longer cup of coffee in the National, but
still though.
I mean, he's like, so one poor guy went to Chicago last year, and we all saw how that ended up.
Yeah.
And so he leaves Chicago. I get kind of like he's got history in Bridgeport, right? And I get not wanting to move your family overseas. Maybe that was the only place that he got a contract offer. He's familiar with it. And okay, I understand all these points. I really do.
Yeah.
What? And he's playing good hockey. I get it. But this guy. I want to say he's a Calder Cup winner and everything. Like, he's just not.
Yeah, he's been there and done that. Like,
how do you get up for? Okay, no, he did. He was not on that Grand Rapids team. I'm a mistake. But still, how do you get up for those games? How do any of them get up for those games, man?
Yeah, at this point, it's like, are you okay? Like, are you do you? It's like you almost have to do a wellness check on the guy. Like, are you all right? Like, do you want to get traded somewhere? Like, I'd be asking for a trade automatic. Like, get me out of here.
I guess it'd be. I mean, you can only go so far with what you have and all that. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
and I'm understanding. I'm trying to adapt the mindset of like, okay, there's times where I really don't like my job, but I still show up and I earn a paycheck and all that.
right.
Is that really what it's become? I mean, if that's what it is, like I said, we all get up in the morning and go to jobs, and maybe most of us probably don't like them, but we still do them because we got bills to pay and mouths to feed, and we have families and all of that. And I sympathize with all of that.
However,
there's got to be some pride. I don't know about you. I have a little bit of pride in my work, and Chris Carey's got pride in his work because she's showing up as one of the best workers in the whole league. What is the rest of the team doing?
I guess trying to not get snowed in by the Bridgeport winters. I don't know. I don't know what's colder, the team or the snow outside.
Is it that snowy in Connecticut? I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know. I mean, it's Connecticut,
I don't know. I always felt like it was a little warmer on the coast. But anyway, I digress.
I don't know. Yeah. Are they the worst team? Yes. Ever? Pretty dang close.
I would have to do deeper research because I'm not.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who the worst of the worst is.
I'm certain there was a team in the 40s who had their roster gutted by World War II that just had to throw some dudes together who probably never been on ice before.
Yeah, we would have to go like almost into like what's the cutoff point for like the most modern.
But we know that they're the worst team at home.
Yeah. So historic. Yeah, like I don't know how like. Unless you're like the Lions and the Browns of yesteryear when you went 0-16, I don't know any teams that are worse than, Bridgeport at home.
First off, remember who went 0-16 first, okay? Don't try and act like the Browns. I
don't even acknowledge the Browns. I haven't acknowledged the Browns in years. I don't really even have an NFL team, to be honest.
We're still accepting fans on the bandwagon. Anyway.
Have your people call my people.
I would have to take a lot of research into some deep dark holes that I'm personally not comfortable jumping down.
Like do you want to jump into that rabbit hole, Alice? I certainly
how this last little point again, we're still on the numbers, so it's all backed up. How many people attended the 5-1 loss to Providence at Total Mortgage Arena in Bridgeport, Connecticut?
3,000.
You are about 33% too high.
No way. Are you telling me
2,184 people?
2,000?
2,000. 180.
What's the capacity of this arena?
I'd be willing to wager more than 2,184.
It would have to be about like what, near 10,000, like probably not 10,000, but like what?
Let's
9,000.
Let's say 8 for argument's sake.
Let's say 8 while you go look it up. 2.
No, I'm looking up like that. Like if you sell those tickets at $30 a pop, like how much was actually made on that game?
Oh my gosh, that's nuts.
Okay, just a little over 65 grand.
Whoa,
that doesn't go. That's nothing. Like that's rough.
I don't think that you're even touching part of the roster salary at that point.
Oh,
that's dude.
I don't want to speculate on a lot of things because there are there's staff, there's people that work in that arena that depend on this team turning a profit and having people show up and all that, and so I don't want to get too deep into like oh haha they keep playing like this and there's not going to be a team in Bridgeport anymore, but doesn't that sit there in the back of your mind?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like I really can't talk because Providence did lose to Bridgeport. I think was it in Bridgeport or was it? I can't remember.
It was probably in Providence. If you lost to Bridgeport in Bridgeport, you got some serious soul searching to do.
Yeah, it was probably proud. And but we went to their place and absolutely spanked them. So I'm not really worried about it. But
You and everyone else in the country.
yeah, I mean, hell, yeah. Like, it definitely is in the back of your mind when you think about when you're averaging less than 3,000 fans and you're watching your team getting pumped, 5 goose for the 30th time that season. It's just, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
trying to take a look.
I don't
Sunday,
think
October 30th, they won 4-0 over Hartford. Okay, so that means I gotta find the other two. I'm scrolling through a lot. Okay, 5-0 over Lehigh. So they 2 of those games were shutouts on top of it, and then 5-1 over Charlotte. Every other game, let's see, they've given up 5 goals, 4 goals, 9 goals, 6 goals, 5, 6, 4. A lot of 6s, a lot of 4s, and two zeros. Hey, they good for them. But
yeah.
I am gonna go out on a limb and say that this is the worst team in the AHL I've ever seen.
At home.
It's the worst one that I've ever seen. At home, on the road, anywhere. Is it the worst of all time? Let me get back to you on that one. I'm giving myself a homework assignment for next week. And I'm gonna give you the top 5 worst AHL teams of all time. And
that would be,
and we'll see where Bridgeport ends up.
Yeah.
They are automatically top 5, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I'm curious to see where else.
From looking at history, we're not going to turn and look ahead because we got some not just exciting hockey ahead of you. We got some playoff implications on top of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm already thinking playoffs. They haven't really released that playoff primer yet, but it's going to be
soon. It's going to be soon.
I would assume by probably next week. I mean, we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Shout out to Philly fans, and it's going to be I'm going to start needing to see those magic numbers. So
yes, please. I would love to see where the P Bruins are at. I'd be like, all right, time for the countdown. What are we looking at?
We're going to start with tonight's matchup. That would be Friday night. Coachella Valley going into San Diego. Now, we've kind of talked about it a little bit at the top of the show. 2 of the hottest teams in the league, not just in this division. So you got, despite, where their streaks are at, 2 teams kind of both jockeying for position at different points of the standings.
Yeah.
And where I think San Diego, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of already in not must-win mode every night, but you're 5 points behind the playoff marker. You kind of got to be in do or die because, with the way that this division works and stacks up and all the points are accumulated, 5 points doesn't seem like a lot until, Tucson gets on a winning streak and plays Henderson for a weekend, and all of a sudden they're starting to pile points up. So San Diego's got to get it rolling. I'd like to see Ville Husso kind of continue to roll that momentum up, but Coachella's not going to make it easy for them.
No, Coachella doesn't really make it easier for a lot of people. So the way they're coming back, that's definitely one, like you said, definitely some playoff implications. You got a team that's kind of on a 7-game heater, kind of on the rise. They get Coachella Valley coming out of the ashes themselves and, making a run for that top spot in the Pacific since, Calgary once decide to, almost pull they're flaming out essentially. Yeah. So
I'm just kind of checking the rosters out as I'm seeing who to aim for. One, I love seeing Max Lajoie still at the top of the points and for the Firebirds. Yeah. That's fantastic. He's always been one of my favorites. But Daniel Sprong, is he really an AHLer? What is he doing in Coachella?
Well, to be honest, to be fair,
I get he's got a terrible attitude and all of that, but someone's got to go out.
He's a 4A guy, Andrew. He's the baseball club. He's a hockey equivalent of a baseball 4A guy. Kills in the American, cannot figure out in the National.
I guess I mean the way that on his stats have read, at least per his ice time, I get he's terrible defensively, but he can be somewhat of a contributor offensively. So
Yeah, true. I
yeah,
made the
he's had
right.
so many stops around the league that you can only get so many chances. But I don't.
Maybe just the right team hasn't come along yet.
Maybe I'm sick of Coachella Valley dominating a Western Conference, and I want to see something blood in there. I don't know.
I'm sick of seeing Hershey dominating the East, so I feel you there.
I'm manifesting some change this year. I'm starting there.
How about a little Providence and Grand Rapids in the final?
Grand Rapids isn't making the finals. Are you kidding me?
Fine. Providence and Chicago. There you go. There it is. Providence and Chicago.
Chicago, I think, has got a better chance. Unless Grand Rapids would have to clean their act up. I can't. I've ranted enough about Grand Rapids on this show. I want to give the people something else.
Fine. Providence, Chicago. There you go. We'll have the Wolves and the Bears.
anyone but the Bears and the Firebirds. I've had 2 helpings of that already. That's enough.
Yeah, well, sorry, I should say a Bruin. A Bruin is a Bruin and a Wolf.
The Bruins got to get past the first round of the playoffs in order to get the finals anyway.
Hey, we are 2 points off a division lead.
You're the Maple Leafs of the American League, unless you prove yourself otherwise.
How dare you?
Am I wrong?
I mean, no, but how dare you?
Thank you.
How dare you stay with your full chest?
Next matchup. Friday and Saturday, we're going to stay in the Pacific Division because we got Ontario at Colorado. You know how we were just talking about those 4 teams separated by 2 points? Well, here's 2 of them right here.
Yeah, those are going to be 2 very huge games because, like you said, Ontario's at the top, Colorado's catching up. I mean, that's a huge, point swing, depending on if it's a sweep or it's a split. Definitely going to be a very huge implication weekend for the Pacific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got Ontario, who's like, you got the crown. Now you kind of got a bit of a target on your back, and Colorado, who, even though they're in 4th place, they still have better points percentages than both Calgary and Coachella, and I think it's only a matter of time before they springboard over both of those teams.
I would not be surprised if you see Colorado kind of make that jump because, like you said, it's by points percentage and stuff like that. I mean, Colorado is definitely one of the sneaky teams where it's like, oh, well, they're honestly, I think they're probably one of the best 4th place teams in the entire American League. Honestly,
it's a little deceiving to call them a 4th place team again.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're the best 4th place team. I'm going to put that in air quotes because they're not really a 4th place team. It's just by circumstance that's where they're at. But if you actually look at them, yeah, they're way better than 4th place.
There's a very real chance that they go from 4th to 1st after this weekend because
it's a very good chance. And then
Calgary's in a free fall. Coachella's got a hot San Diego team right in their crosshairs, and yeah, if Colorado takes care of business at home,
we got
the Eagles are first. Yeah,
we got some new kings in the West then. If it's Colorado taking care of business.
Lots moving. This very fluid situation in the Pacific.
Yeah.
But then we go over to the Atlantic, and on Saturday, I feel like I've highlighted this matchup several times over the last week, and it's never lived up to expectation. That's Wilkes-Barre going into Hershey. I love the Penguins. I love Ville Koivunen. I love Vasily Ponomarev, a couple of former Wolves that I kind of wish were still on the team, but that's the business side of the game. and then you got Hershey, which is Hershey. What more do you need to say about this team?
Someone needs to beat those guys.
And I feel like Wilkes-Barre had their hearts ripped out a couple of times after just stomping over Hershey. And if you wanna be the best, you got to beat the best. So
yeah, no, 100%. Well, and thing too is like they're going to come seeking revenge because, like you said, like. The Bruins came back. They were down 4-0 after the first on Sunday and outshot 21-9. came back and scored 4 straight and won the game. Big thanks to Max Jones and of course, Georgi, Merkulov, being absolutely clutch. They went at 5-4. Wilkes-Barre would definitely want those points back. So I would not be surprised if you see some very angry Penguins going after some Hershey Bears in that matchup.
It's a wild thought to think of, angry Penguins. I would like to see more controlled fury from the Penguins. We saw Ponomarev get the boot the last time these two teams played because he decided it was a good idea to just punch Pierre Dubé in the head. And
I mean, there's definitely no love lost.
A bad idea. I didn't hear what was said on the ice, but you can't just sock a guy in the head. It's can't do that. It's against the rules, bro.
We can't. You can't do that. Essentially, yeah. I mean, there is definitely no love lost between these two teams. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's always fireworks. It's always fast paced, high octane action. I like this matchup. I like tuning in whenever I can.
Yeah,
this should be no different.
Mm-hmm.
We got another little fun one on Saturday, a nice little interdivisional matchup between a couple teams that are chasing the crown. Charlotte going into Cleveland to take on the Monsters. Now, this isn't like going into Bridgeport and imposing the team at home like that. This is Cleveland we're talking about here. But Charlotte did just lose to the Islanders in Connecticut, so something's got to be said about that. At any rate,
I mean,
you have a hiccup. It happens. But, at the end of the day, Charlotte is you see them kind of in that middle rung of the Atlantic standings where it's like they're good, but they're not the elite, or at least haven't really established themselves quite yet. Yeah. And Cleveland is... I've been trying to figure Cleveland out. They've been decimated by call-ups to the Blue Jackets. The Jackets had a ton of injuries. They're starting to finally get healthy, I think, here. And, I'm hoping that kind of spills over to Cleveland where it's like, okay, I believe they lost Owen Sillinger for the year, though, and that hurts.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge blow.
Yeah, so but this is a team and the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse are... Wait, it's just the Rock Arena now. Sorry.
Yeah. Gosh, that's so...
Oh, man. Okay, that's going to take some getting used to. I got
that's so dumb. That's so dumb.
I got so used to the Romo Fiho. Yeah,
that's
now right. They try
so
to...
dumb.
They're okay. I need to go on a rant about this for a bit. Something about how, modernizing everything from arena names to score bugs is all just about minimalism, and I hate it. I hate it. There is no character in any of these things. Did you watch? Okay, I assume you watched the Super Bowl, right?
I caught clips, but
that score bug,
it was pretty bad.
I could have made that. My passion is not graphic design. So I mean, what are we like? But it's this horrible trend. Did you see what they did to baseball too? It's the same thing. They got rid of the poop game. So
not the poop game.
Out there doesn't understand. Whenever the Philadelphia Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates played together on, I forget what network it was, but at the bottom they had the logos for each team, PMP, and their scores, which started off 0-0 as most sports games do, and it would read poop. And everyone that has a kindergarten level maturity level like I do finds it hilarious. I like the tweet every time it passes through, and this is what they're taking from me.
How dare you?
It's this whole postmodern, we're just gonna make everything minimalist. This is the reason why you can go to art exhibits in New York City and it's just a blank white canvas, and some rich schmo out there will pay $50,000 for it. And it's bring character back to art, man. And that includes, your marketing, your score bugs, your graphics, all of that. I'm tired of seeing things minimalized and brought down to just the basic components. Nothing goes hard anymore, and I hate it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I mean, it was a great
longer than I anticipated, but I realized I was more passionate about it.
It's totally fair. Hey, Andrew, if you want to look at some great score graphics, just go to the Hurricanes on social media. They're doing a whole AHL '94 theme for their Whalers night tonight.
Oh, for the Whalers night?
Yeah, for Whalers night, dude. Like, we're talking, like, the graphics are so NHL 90, like, on the ice. Well, you know how they do the ice projections? Dude, they literally had a Sabres Hurricanes, but they had it in the, or was it Sabres Whalers? I forget. But they had it to where it read like, on AHL 94 where it had like the two-tone colors and it had like the 8-bit lettering. That's what it was on the ice tonight for warm-ups.
Yeah, Carolina prefers to go with their minimalism when it comes to putting pucks in the net, right? Hey, that was a repaying for the old comment made in the beginning of the show.
Hey, you know what? Touche.
On the bright side, you don't have to pay Mikko Rantanen $14 million this offseason.
Stop it! You stop it right now.
That was uncalled for.
That was so unnecessary. Hey, you know what? Give us Alex DeBrincat as payment for that joke.
What did DeBrincat didn't do anything. Don't bring Cat into this.
No, I want it. Bring Cat to Carolina for your transgressions.
You should have done it last year, man. We're rolling now.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get Dylan Larkin. We'll get Dylan Larkin. It's fine.
So Captain America belongs in the Motor City. Thank you very much.
I know.
Shit about Captain, but I digress. That's another rant for another show.
Yeah.
So we got another big one here, Saturday and Sunday. And the Saturday one's a big one because it's going to be the Flow Hockey Game of the Week, which means anyone out there.
Flow Hockey Game of the Week.
Yeah, anyone out there can watch across Flow Hockey social platforms without a subscription. So that's I
would say Flow Hockey's doing pretty well, honestly, with how they do things. I like what they've been doing so far.
There's some of their issues earlier in the season with the streams have more or less kind of reached back to where they were at AHL TV level. So it's
it's their first season, but
I'll give them some slack. They've got a good squad up there. I appreciate them.
Yeah,
we got the Chicago Wolves. Wonder if that's beat by us going into Texas and taking on the Stars. Now,
I mean, maybe
there's a little bit of it, but Chicago's also playing some good hockey lately. So I'm gonna give myself a little break on the beat bias. If I really wanted to be a beat bias, I would have told you all to watch Grand Rapids. Then you would have watched Grand Rapids and seen what I seen, and you would have been like, "Why are you making me watch this team?"
If I have to suffer, you have to suffer.
Well, I'm going with Chicago instead. And Texas is a squad that's also kind of on fire right now, right up at the top of those Central Division standings. This is another team that just won't go away. They lost Maverick Bourque and Logan Stankoven and Matthew Murray, and they're still at the top of the standings. I don't get it. They don't even have Liam Bixel there anymore, and they're still winning game. Back up Texas.
They just find a way to get the right talent when it's needed. So it just kind of works out perfectly. So
yeah, they got a couple of rookies and Justin Ritzkovian. Thank you for John Peterson for letting me learn that pronunciation of that name, because the whole 6 consonants together names throws me all off. And Huru. Oh man, that was a lot tougher. They've been really kind of leading the way for that Texas squad. And it's just it's again, it's annoying, but it's a testament to that Dallas and management to be able to get these guys into the organization, to the Texas coaching staff to get these guys playing at a high level year in and year out. Like, they had a rookie as Maverick Bourque as their MVP of the league last year. They've continued to just roll through opponents this year, and it's been a continuous cycle with this squad. Now they're kind of Providence-like in the fact that it hasn't really translated to postseason success, but you never know what this season contains. And you got Chicago on the other side, who I think you might have heard about, a guy named Bradley Nadeau, who's been.
I might have heard about him. I heard there's another guy named Skylar Brindamore. Maybe got a shorty recently.
Yeah.
Oh, another guy
Nice
named
guy.
Scott Morrow is laying it up too. So I might have heard of some of these guys.
Yeah, because some of these guys. And
Yeah.
Nadeau, I think, has started to evolve from the point where he's on a hot streak to like, this is just like what he does. He just scores just about every game. And
basically what he did in Maine, in Penticton. Yeah. This kid just knows how to score goals. Like wherever he goes, the puck just finds the net. So I mean, when you have an AHL elite shot already, yeah, that kind of helps.
He's kind of got an NHL elite shot at this point.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you have an NHL elite shot already, yeah, I think you
score goals.
Yeah, you might tend to score goals. So I would say don't be surprised if you see him in Carolina probably next year if he keeps this up. But maybe, who knows? We'll see.
Is just give me a playoff run, and that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years for you, Andrew. Just give me one playoff run at least.
Well, I mean, I got to experience a good one with Grand Rapids last year, but in terms of Chicago, like, just wait until October. You can have them in October. That's
what I meant. Yeah, like wait until like
him and Morrow. Like, you can have them both. Just
October. Oh, well, Morrow is probably the more likely candidate for next season for sure. Like
they're both. I'm gonna lose them both next year, Marty. I've come to peace with that. Not yet. Don't Logan Stankoven me. Where like he was the MVP in Texas, and then right before the trade deadline, Dallas was like, yoink, and then they just kept him up there all year. But
yeah, don't do that to me, man.
Please don't.
No.
Anyway, those are the matchups that I got for the week, and yeah, that's a week in the rearview mirror and a week ahead.
Yeah,
Zach, what else do you have for us this week?
I mean, in terms of what you're looking at, I mean, if we're gonna go a little bit of the, beat bias, got to look at the Providence Bruins and just kind of got to figure out, wasn't the greatest, little time for them, but hey, Sunday, you got Teddy Bear Toss coming up on the 2nd, so that's going to be fun.
Teddy Bear Toss?
Teddy Bear Toss, March 2nd against March. Yeah, March 2nd, this Sunday, 4:05, Teddy Bear Toss. So get ready for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then also on Saturday, March 1st, and against Springfield, it's racing day. So, yeah, nice little fun weekend coming up. We got racing day on the 1st, and then you got the Teddy Bear Toss. And the good thing too is, it's if you buy a bear, it comes with a Providence Bruins Pooh Bear jersey on the actual bear, and it goes to proceeds.
Teddy Bear Toss? That was like 3 months ago, bro. Where's Providence been?
Hey, Providence likes to do something a little different, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I can't wait for the Salvation Army Red Bucket game that they're going to have in July.
Hey, they do things differently in Providence, I guess. But hey, the Bears are pretty cute, though. So I mean, if you go there,
I got no doubt about the Bears being cute. I'm
just saying they look pretty cute. Like I said, it comes with a a Providence Bruins Pooh Bear jersey. They're $10 and they go to proceeds. So why not?
That's a great cause, and I sympathize and I appreciate
the fact that it's like, wait, why is it March 2nd?
Well, exactly. Everyone else there's like around Christmas time.
You know what? That's a good question. Maybe Providence likes to do things differently. I'm not sure. But you know what, though, Andrew? I will say this. I'm just glad we're finally in the dark home jerseys and not doing the whites at home anymore. So
my hot take is that I prefer the white jerseys.
It depends on what the white jersey is, because there are some whites that are pretty nice. I like the Providence Bruins whites, but if it was like the Boston Bruins like Pooh Bear reverse retro jerseys, those I'd be like, okay, cool, we can do that. But The Bruins, whites are pretty solid, but
I growing up, I was a Wings fan. I like the Red Wing white jersey more than the red jersey, and I maintain
that's fair. That's fair.
I maintain that should have been their home jersey, but
say supposedly the AHL's thinking about going back to that. So we're preliminary discussions, I guess.
It's the old classic EA Sports strategy where you take something out and then reintroduce it 12 years later. Like, we have a great new idea. We're going to do this.
What do you mean this is a rerun? What do you mean this is?
Well, wait a minute. We had this in NHL 11. This isn't a new feature. You just took it out.
Wait a minute. This isn't what it is. It's like, hold up a minute.
I never would have expected to see the day where they would have emulated EA Sports, but
I mean, honestly, to be honest, hot take, ever since they stopped putting good music on, the games got not so great. So
I just tweeted that like not that long ago. The correlation between gameplay and music going down.
Andrew, right here, man. You and me, right here.
It's yeah.
I will say, I know a lot of people like, AHL 14's music or AHL 08s or AHL 11s. AHL 03, the most goated soundtrack of all time. I'm sorry. You cannot convince me otherwise that anything's better than AHL 03. Because, I mean, think about it. You got Sweetness. You got Queens of the Stone Age is on there. You got Backcountry by Avenged Sevenfold. And that's Papa Roach, She Loves Me Not. Come on. You have like 4 great songs off the rip.
Yeah. That's take me back. Take me. I stopped the train. I want to get off.
That's my TED Talk hot take.
And on that note, we are going to stop this train and get off because
I don't want to keep doing this anymore.
Thank you guys all for tuning in. It's been a wonderful week of AHL hockey. Yeah. And we'll catch you guys next week as we continue this playoff push.